Hey everyone, today Dollar Tree 3D pumpkin wreath ideas for fall. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Tonya. And if you're returning, welcome back. And I hope you all like, share, and subscribe. Now on our first design, I'm going to take that 3D pumpkin rim and I'm using one of those chenille rugs from Dollar Tree. They're in the plus section, and I just thought this would make a really pretty wreath for the fall season. And you can see I'm just taking some hot glue, and I'm just going to start gluing that on the top part of the pumpkin rim. And once I get that glued down a little bit, I just kind of bend it to cut around the edges, and you want to make sure you do that, because if you try to just cut it while it's standing up straight without bending it, it's going to be too short, the fabric is. So once you bend that around and get enough fabric cut, then you can just start gluing all the other pieces, and you want to kind of pull it kind of tight as you're doing that to just kind of stretch the rug across there so it fits really well. But everyone, this was a really fun one. I enjoyed using the rug, and I ended up putting this in my kitchen on my pantry door. You can see I'm just taking and using quite a bit of glue on the fabric, and you just want to keep kind of pulling and tucking as you're gluing this on. And you can just maneuver the fabric around. You could even leave it with a few little puckers if you like, just to give that look of the little bumps in the pumpkin. You can see that I was just taking and just pulling and stretching this little rug until I got it the way that I wanted it to look. And I wanted mine to be pulled kind of tight to make the fabric look kind of neat as it laid over top of the pumpkin wreath rim. And you really just got to keep adding that glue. And I'm just going to be taking a piece of fabric that I had. I think I might have picked this fabric up at Dollar Tree because they have those little, I think it's like 18 by 18 inch little quilt squares. And those are perfect. But you can see how pretty this is already looking. Now I just decided to pull out this blue, and it really isn't going to matter. I just wanted to clean up the back, whatever piece of fabric that you would like to use, just to kind of clean the back area up. And that way you can just glue this around and cover up all those raw edges that you had tucked in the back part of your little pumpkin. While we're gluing on our piece of fabric to the back, I just want to thank everyone that has been subscribing to my channel, and welcome to all of you that are new here, and thank you to all of my subscribers that have been with me a while. I am so happy to be back creating with you. I have lots to share with you through the fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and the Christmas season. So I'm really excited. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, I hope you do so. And keep in mind, it is free to subscribe, but it really helps me out a lot. Now for the pumpkin stem, I decided to use a little cinnamon broom. And I love the smell of cinnamon this time of year. So I'm just going to be taking and hot glue this onto the top, and then I will secure it with some zip ties, and that way it give me a little place that I was able to hang it up. But everyone, this was a really nice design, and I saw this rug the other day when I went into Dollar Tree, and I just thought, wow, what a pretty little pumpkin this would make. So I hope you enjoy this one as much as I do. I really love the way it looks hanging on the door, and I thought it was just something a little different to try. Now after we get our stem on here, we can start adding some of our little decor pieces to the top. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just take some of this greenery from Dollar Tree and just tie that on with the zip tie, and I love how this looks draped coming down the front of the pumpkin. Now I'm going to be taking some of these silver dollars. I absolutely love these. Dollar Tree has these in several different color tones this year, and I wanted to use this neutral color because that's kind of the colors I have in my kitchen. But everyone, they had them like in a rusty orange color, and I think kind of like a yellowy wheat color, but definitely check those out. if you have a Dollar Tree, but I thought these looked perfect with the design that I was doing today. And I just kind of wanted to make these look like they were trailing down beside the greenery. And then that's where I'm going to have my little acorns kind of hanging down. And then I found these little pieces that look like wheat at Dollar Tree. And I just wanted to have a few little sprigs of those coming out. I just really liked the different color contrast, so I always like to add that into my designs, and just trying to pull out colors that go together. And I thought these looked really pretty, so I just popped a few in. But everyone, look at these acorns. I thought these were really pretty. I don't remember if I found these at Dollar Tree last year. You'll have to let me know if you did, but I sure am glad that they have them this year. And I just decided to hot glue these on to a little rope twine strand, and I kind of did it the same way I do my bells. Just tie a bunch of the little ropes together and then just glue them so they can dangle down. And I really enjoyed this design, and I hope that you do. And I just love using the nature-inspired elements this time of year. I think it just brings the outdoors in your home, which I think is so comforting. Now I'm just going to finish up by gluing these on, and then we're going to just hot glue those right on the top to dangle down. I just decided to glue them all throughout, down the greenery and around some of the little silver dollars. And everyone, I just love the way this looks on my door in the kitchen, and I love that you can smell that cinnamon every time I open my pantry. So I hope you're enjoying this one as much as I have been enjoying creating it. Now, if you haven't picked up those hula skirts, definitely grab some of those if they have any left. I just think it adds that brightness, but yet it has that touch of fall. And I like to just fold them right there like I'm doing and just pinch the bottom and just pop them in little places. And I think it just adds the perfect little touch to brighten up these designs. And I also have a wreath coming up that I created with one of the hula skirts. But everyone, I added a few sunflowers with pine cones, and I could not be happier with this. So if you like this one, don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. Now for our next design, everyone, we're going to be taking this hula skirt, and I'm put it in the middle of the stem, and then I just wanted to glue the top part going down as far as I can on one side of the pumpkin rim, and then I'll go and glue it down on the other side. And you'll see when I get this glued down, that way all of the little pieces are going to fall forward on the front part of the pumpkin. And that way we're going to be able to take little pieces of this and wrap each one of the little wire pieces coming across the front of the pumpkin. And that's going to be able to give the look of this straw pumpkin wreath rim. And everyone, I cannot believe this one little skirt covered this so well, but it did. And it was a really clean and neat design, and I actually do several different things with this that you can see. There's so many ways to use this. You can leave it just like it is with just the straw wrapped around and add just something very simple, or you can dress it up like I did at the end of this, and you'll see that. Now I did use my little stand, and that was just so I could hold it up so I could show you. It's almost like I was twisting and braiding, but you can wrap this any way that you can get it to stay. And every now and then I would have to put in a little dab of hot glue and then just twist it down as far as you can get it to the end there. And I even had the zip tie one, and like I said, I added some hot glue, whatever you need to do to get it to stay. And I had mine on there kind of loosely, and that way I could kind of move my straw up and down. And you could see once it starts getting completed, you can really see what the look of this is like. And I really like this as just the simplicity of it, leaving it with just the straw on there. But I do dress these up. And this one I had quite a bit of straw, so I do end up adding a zip tie to this and a dab of hot glue. Like I said, you can pretty much use whatever you need to attach them, because you can always just take and glue a little piece of the straw over top of it to hide it. And I just keep working my way through on this until I get everything covered and trim off any excess that I need. And you can see I'll have a little bit of that straw left at the top, and I end up using that just to kind of gather up at the top, and that will kind of fill in that area for me. But I'll let you keep kind of watching as I'm talking, just so you can see how I'm getting each one of these to stay on here. Now I decided to put it back on my little hanger that I have here, and it was easier for me to twist this. So if you have a little stand like this, it will be helpful, or you could just hang it off of, even a cabinet door would work with a little hook. Just hang it up like that. It seemed like it was easier to wrap and twist if I hung it up on top of something where I could work going down instead of it being flat. Now here's the extra that I had, and this is what I was telling you. I just took that and tied it just as tight as I could stretch it across there. And the reason why I did that is because I knew I was going to be covering that area with some greenery and some pumpkins, and that's where I was going to just do a lot of my decor on the top of this pumpkin. Now I was stretching that super tight because I wanted to be able to tie it around the stem, and that was going to give me my little accents of straw coming out each side of the pumpkin stem. And you might have to work with it for a few minutes like I'm doing here, but you'll eventually get that to stay on there pretty snug, and that's why I'm kind of flipping it around. And when you work on this, you'll see you kind of have to just twist it and pull it to get it tight. And once you get it the way you want it, zip tie it like I did. And you can see I've got that extra straw on each side, and that's what we're going to finish off those edges with. And I just trim everything down, and then I start taking that extra and just wrapping it all across the wire that is bare. And I meet in the middle of the pumpkin at the bottom on this design, and that way it gives me a little bit more of that straw kind of sticking out the bottom, because I plan on putting some greenery and a couple little pumpkins down at the bottom also. But the zip ties definitely come in really handy on this design. And like I said, just keep twisting and wrapping until you get all of your wire covered on this one. It did take me a little bit of time on this one, but everyone, it was so worth it, because once I got it done, it was just a really neat design, and I love how this turned out, and I definitely will be making a few more like this. Now I'm just going to take my remaining straws, and I'm just going to zip tie everything together really tight before I trim all of the little extra straws down, and that'll give me a little bit of that as accents on the bottom part of the pumpkin. Now after I get all that trimmed, we'll start adding our greenery. And I love this greenery. This kind of reminds me of those little silver dollars, but in the green colors. And I thought this would look really pretty with the light color of the straw. And I picked up these pumpkins. I think these are the ones that look like a knit sweater. And Dollar Tree has so many pumpkins, everyone. So definitely get over there and check those out, because they have added some new ones, and there's just so much to choose from. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a few of the little greeneries and pumpkins down here at the bottom, because I really want most of them to be on the top part of this pumpkin design. Now I'm just going to finish up my last few pumpkins, and then we can turn it around and we can start working on the top of this one. But everyone, you can see as I got it turned upside down just how pretty it looks, having all of that straw twisted on there. I just think this one would be so simple just to display it just like this with the greenery across and a few of these pumpkins. But I do add a few things to this one. So I hope you're still with me, because we're going to take this from just a fall pumpkin wreath to a Halloween style wreath, and by only adding a few little things to the top. But keep in mind, all of the items that I used on this one were from Dollar Tree, and they do have the greenery out. And of course, I did see a few of the little hula skirts, and you could really use rope twine if you wanted to also on this. And I even have done them before just using strips of fabric, and it gives a similar look to this. And of course, you know me, if you watch, I really love my greenery, so I keep going back and adding little bits more of greenery in here. But if you haven't tried using these 3D wreath forms, definitely give them a try. And I also have a video where I did 3 a couple years ago, and I will leave that linked in the description box. And I use a lot of rope, and I use some beads, and those are really pretty ones too. So if you haven't checked those out, I will leave that link, like I said, below, and I'll also have it up top where you can click on it here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and finish the top off with some more of those pumpkins, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to make a little cluster of them right there at the top underneath the pumpkin stem, and then we're just going to be taking a piece of cardboard that I cut, and I'm going to wrap that with some rope and then just glue that on. And it made just a really nice shape little stem for the top of this pumpkin. But everyone, that pretty much finishes this one off in this style. But if you would like to change this one up a little bit for a Halloween look, all you have to do is add some creepy cloth over the top. I did some wired ghost lights for a little glow and added a little bit of netting ribbon. And this changed this up so you could use it through the month of October. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this one. If so, let me know in the comments below. Now for our next design, we're going to start out by taking some of these curling sticks. I love to use these. They actually make really pretty waves in your hair. But we're going to be putting 2 of these together, and I'm just going to twist them up gently, and then I'm going to wrap them in duct tape. And I'm doing that so they'll hold in place, and then you can still bend the stem. And then we're just going to take and wrap it in some rope twine. And it seems like the rope twine stems for the pumpkin always make the prettiest ones. But this makes a really super thick stem, and that's the way I wanted this one to be for this particular design. And really all you need to do is just wrap it up tightly, and then you can just go ahead and start adding on your rope twine to this one. And everyone, don't forget to check at Dollar Tree now for their rope twine, because it does seem to get gone through the fall season, and it works really great. Now next, everyone, I want to show you this little hair bow clip. I didn't get to film this because I had already had it done before, but I just built up a little arrangement on top of this and hot glued it. And this makes a perfect little decor piece that you can just clip on to pretty much any of your designs. So if you've never thought of doing that before, pick up some of those little hair bows. Just make sure when you're gluing it on that your clip can open up freely on the bottom. But what I'm going to do with this one is just use it to clamp right on to the top of my pumpkin. And I was just going to place it on here to show you how it works. But everyone, this is such a little neat tip. So I hope you tried this one, because I've been doing this for a while and I found this one and I just wanted to share it with you today because I thought it was such a neat one. Now I'm just going to take my pumpkin stem that I made, and we're just going to zip tie that on. And you won't even need a hanger because you can actually use that little metal stem piece to hang this up. But everyone, I hope you give that little hair bow arrangement a try. These are so fun, and another great idea is to take and do some little Christmas arrangements on top of these hair bows, and you can clamp them right onto your Christmas tree. So I'll be doing that for you also. But everyone, look how pretty the stem looks with that little cluster. I think that made a really neat design. Now I am going to take some of these Halloween white roses. And this is another one that I did a couple things to. We're going to kind of decorate this up for fall, and I decided just to take these little rose clips and add on all over this. And this reminds me of something that you could also do for a wedding. This would make a really neat design. But I just kind of turned these so they all stood up straight. And I think this made just a really pretty neutral color little fall pumpkin. You'll have to let me know what you think of this one. And I think I used like 6 packs of those roses. But I was really happy to see those this year. I thought they were really pretty. And I just thought it was another fun and unique way to create a pumpkin wreath. But everyone, I just love how this turned out. But stick around. I'm going to be adding a few things to this one to give it that Halloween flair. But isn't this pretty just like it is? So definitely you got a couple options for this design. Now, if you do want to add a Halloween flair, all you need to do is add a lace table runner to the back, some rope around the edges, and then I put a loose bow on top. And everyone, look at this table runner in the background. It had spider webs on it. I thought this turned out so beautiful. Well, everyone, that is it for today's DIYs. I hope you enjoyed them. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.